First, we're going to go over some basic offensive concepts. It's best to describe offensive first because it will make describing defense easier later. Concept 1, the stack. When someone has the disc, you're always trying to get in the middle of the field in a stack, meaning you and your teammates are stacked in a line directly downfield from the person with the frisbee. When there's a stoppage of play, often someone will yell, "Stack it up." And that means that you should do what you always do, get in a stack. So here's how it might look when there is a stoppage of play. But when someone else goes and catches the disc, everyone else should still be thinking stack. And that gets into concept 2, flow. A good team has good flow. This means that only one person cuts at a time, and after they do cut, they get out of the way for the next person to run to that same spot. So here, we'll have the first cut from the front of the stack. If this person catches it, then it's the next person's whose turn it is to cut. Notice what happens if they both cut at the same time. Concept 3, cutting and throwing to space. Good throwers don't throw to a person, but instead throw to an area for the person to run to. So you should not think about the person you're throwing to, but instead the space that they're running towards. Okay, that's the basic of offense. Before we get into more details, let's talk about defense. Concept 1, the force. Everyone has heard the word force in a game millions of times. However, it's really a difficult concept and even more difficult to execute on the field. Quite simply, Frisbee is an offensive game, meaning the offense should always score since throwing and catching are fairly simple tasks. So the defense goal is not to stop them, but instead to just make their lives as hard as possible. When we force, we typically want the person to throw with their forehand or their flick, meaning if they're right-handed, that means that it's on their right side of their body. We want them to throw with this because at most levels it's a harder throw than the backhand. Depending on the person you're guarding, you may want to stand in different places to succeed at getting them to throw with their forehand. In general, you want to step back instead of being right up close. While you won't be as in their face, it will still be harder for them to throw in that area. Now let's assume the person defending the person with the disc does their job and gets them to throw on the right side of their body. This means that it's pretty likely that they're going to throw on the right side of the field. So the defenders who aren't on the person with the disc want to cheat to the right side as well. So as you can see, you're really making things difficult if the thrower aims to an area whose defender is already guessing in that area. Remember, if your guy catches the frisbee on the break side, it's not your fault. You've only made a mistake if the person you're defending catches the disc on the force side. The point is that you should cheat. And when we say cheat, we mean cheat by a whole bunch. Not just to your person next to your person, but instead a good 5 to 10 yards on the force side. Okay, concept 2, hold the force. Sometimes you'll hear this and not know what to do. When someone yells this, it's because their guy they're guarding is wide open on the break side. So he's saying, hey, watch out. The guy with the disc is probably going to try to break the defender.
Concept 3,
i.e.
don't get beat
the
deep
force.
or play behind your person. If the person you're guarding is taller, faster, or keeps finding a way to score, you'll want to make an adjustment. This isn't just to be behind the person, but truly cheat and play many yards behind the person. The goal is to allow the person to catch and throw as much as they want, just never get behind you and therefore score. Okay, back to offense. If you're going to beat the defense, it's all about breaking the force. Look what happens. If all of a sudden we break the force, look how open all our players are. So if you're on offense and you have a chance to break the force, you always take it. Often that's in the form of the swing, which is when you throw it across the field without the goal of gaining yards.